Hi everybody, this is Pallavi. We are speaking with Adhiraj and Aishwarya from Jivya today. Jivya is a plant-based slow fashion brand, and we're going to have a conversation about slow fashion with them. So just hold on till they join. Hi Adhiraj, hi Aishwarya. Uh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
is it better?
yeah, this is better.
Yeah, my phone was in a stand, it was just blocking. Anyway, hello.
Problem. Yeah, can you increase the volume a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this better?
Okay, great. Yes, this is fine.
Okay, perfect.
Hi, lovely to meet you,
Same here.
meet you.
Yes.
And I was just telling everybody, whoever is on the live or who will watch this video later on, that you're the founders of Jivya. And Jivya is a plant-based slow fashion brand.
Yes.
And I've done a little bit of my own study about the brand and I have a lot of questions to ask, but would love to hear it from you
Uh-huh.
about how did it all start and what were you guys doing before this, etc. Yeah. So over
Okay.
to you.
Yeah. I guess I'll start a little bit and then I'll let Adhiraj fill in. So
Sure.
first, and please don't feel bad about it, but it's Jivya. We are trying to,
Okay.
yeah, we annotize the word Jiv, which means life, soul, coming from the soil,
Right.
because the whole idea was to design an ecosystem which is soil to soil. So you might have heard the word circular, and that's mostly used in terms of plastic economy, where unfortunately the idea is to keep pushing more plastic out there so we can keep recycling it. Well, we started with the idea that the soil is an infinite resource. It has the power of not just giving infinitely, being renewable, but at the same time taking back what we rightfully give it, not in a harmful way.
Correct.
So that's the crux of Jivya, the soil to soil, uh, cradle to cradle ecosystem. And I'll let Adhiras share the story of how it started.
So both Aishwarya and I are textile scientists, and we've been in the field for over 10 years. We are both masters in fiber science and textile engineering. And we were in the US for a couple of years. We did our masters. We worked with different startups and understood what the textile industry is. Worked with some advanced textiles all the way to firefighter applications and advanced materials. And we saw how polluting the textile industry is and what we could do if we started an entrepreneurial journey on our own. So that's where we decided to move back to India in 2022 and wanted to start something of our own, which is not just sustainable but also rooted in Indian heritage and arts and empowering the local community around.
Yeah, so in our respective jobs, in the heavy research we were doing, we were constantly trying to clean up from the inside. Maybe introducing a safer solvent in the nanofibers I was making. He was trying to determine if firefighters' gear had any harmful chemicals that they can breathe when they wash the gear, something that minor, but having much larger effect, until we realize that smaller steps is good, but we want to do much more, and it has to lead by example. And I guess being in the US, we couldn't start something on visas. That's how the visa process works. So we were like, okay, we'll go back. And while we were discussing the idea here, we are batchmates right from our undergraduate days. And back then, very interestingly, we used to talk about India having so many textile arts, which are, generations old, and how beautiful it would be to bring them all together. And that's when that was the eureka moment, like when we merged the idea of a plant-based circular biocircular ecosystem and heritage arts to make it fashionable and beautiful. And after that, one day we picked a car and drove. I guess he was driving, so he'll tell you more on
So
that.
it's very interesting and it's fun to look back at even for us. We
Right.
borrowed a car from the family and we set out on a journey to meet the heritage artisans of India. So we
Right.
ended up driving 19,000 kilometers across the country, across 19 states, practically
Yeah.
everywhere where we could reach, except Kashmir and the Northeast, where it is almost impossible to drive in those terrain.
Yeah, we were not very confident of that. And honestly, the only resource we had was government directories and places where the national awardees or Padma awardees are listed. Uh, Unfortunately, only the names are listed and probably a district where they reside. So we drew out a map and we were like, okay, we will stop by the district, ask a local person if they know them, because achieving a national award is a big thing.
Yeah.
They should know. And thankfully, people knew. They were like local superstars. So then they would direct, no, not at this town. You have to go 20 kilometers south or up on that part. And we went on, found people, found their local, I would say, setups and businesses. And they were so happy to host us, because having that little connection of textiles, they did not have to explain us how the loom works or how they dye or how, honestly, they are, to survive their art, they're using polyester and synthetic dyes, which they do not want to work with anyway. So when we gave an option, the first question was, we will do it. Are you sure you will buy from us? I mean, that was the hesitance. And I was like, I will make sure I do that. Adhiraj was like, don't you worry. And he has been the one who is more in touch with the artisans. That's like, he handles that part more than me. And they're kind of like a family to us now, the bigger Jivya family. So yeah, that's how we got all the materials in. Then one day we were trying to see if we can onboard a designer. Do we go B2B or we go B2C? And the design question was not getting solved. Unfortunately, designers, I didn't find designers asking the question like, are the materials that I'm using, are they safe for the planet? They ask the right questions. Like, I want a bodycon gown or a dress. So what is the stretchability of material? They ask, I want a drape, how smooth it is to flow. But do you ask if the smoothness is coming from a forever chemical, or is that polyester that will not degrade for thousands of years in the landfills? So I was like, I have a little bit of creative side. So I thought, okay, let me try. If I fail, we'll get somebody. And that's when I started learning designing a little bit. And then we got a staff of just 2 or 3 people who started working on the production part of the pieces that we had. And in the journey, what became a signature Jivya piece is, every piece has multiple Indian art forms. So, for example, I'll decode one of my beautiful, like, I'm very proud of that simple piece, but I really like it. It is orange in color. The weave comes from Odisha. Both the makers are Padma Shri awardees, the husband-wife duo. They use, so a local variety of manjishtha is what they use to dye the yarns when they weave it on pit looms. It's called kotpad weave. So it's a very simple kotpad weave with very minimal booties. Then I connected with an embroiderer of Sozni embroidery from Kashmir. The embroidery looks like 2D print. You, like, just from picture, you cannot think that it's a hand embroidery. Then Adhiraj took a lot of efforts in explaining to him that, please don't use silk yarns, please use cotton yarns to do the embroidery, which was tough. We dyed some yarns ourselves and sent their way that, please use the yarns we have hand dyed and do not use any synthetic colors. That came back. And then I was trying to make a nice summer inspiration for that piece, because the orange color, very rare in natural colors, that orange was. And then to give it a little sheen, I used some Himru fabric, the Himru weave from Maharashtra, Aurangabad region, also rarely sourced in cotton, generally done in silk. So, and then some coconut buttons to do a loop kind of embellishment, so that the wearer can grow a size, the dress will still fit. The adaptability was added to it. And then came the process of naming the piece. Now, with so much soul and energy going into it, we were like, let's name something special. And we kept discussing, and we were like, let's connect the name, let's connect the identity of the piece to one of the arts or one of the states where it comes from. And that's where we named it Devdar, because the trees are primarily in the northern part of India. And yeah, it's one of the beautiful pieces. So that's how we decode. And anything that was waste from like, you know, while making the patterns or anything, went back to our processing line. We segregated, then was used to make smaller things like strings or embellishment or smaller other upcycled buttons, so that, you know, it's not going to waste. So that's, like, you know, you can say a life cycle of a Jivya product. And very recently we launched the Rejivya program. You want to take on that?
Yeah, we'll come there. I'm very and excited by the enthusiasm, but we'll take it in little bits for people to really be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah,
understand as to what.
got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's extremely exciting, and I've gone through the website as well. The travel is very. I mean, it's very. It's a different way of really deciding to do something by yourself, because I interact with a lot of brands because of the platform. So we have a lot of plant-based brands working with us on the platform. So the interactions are different, and people have not really gone out this way to first explore what they are getting into, which is again probably for you guys, you had a deeper understanding of the entire process, so you really had those right questions to ask. Because even if somebody like me goes and meets a Padma Shri awardee or a national awardee, I will be fumbling as to what to ask, because you know there's a certain conversation that has to go over there. So which is very exciting, the way you you know, kind of conceptualized it. And a lot of things are unplanned. I get it, like how you're talking about the designers. Again, it goes a little back to the education that is being imparted right now, which is also, you know, it's evolving, but it cannot take very long to evolve, and that's where we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a gap in the market right now. Either there are designers who are extremely quirky and whimsical, and they'll come up with something which is not wearable, or there are designers who are just not questioning the norm,
Yeah.
and they are just going with the, you know, with the flow. So I did go through the bare minimum it's not a program, but it's a philosophy that you guys follow, and
Yeah.
I think you mentioned a little bit about it. Would you like to elaborate a little bit? Because I think people should know that whatever you are using is being addressed in a certain manner. So if you can just elaborate a little bit over there.
Yep, absolutely. You want to take
Yeah,
this?
sure. So we came up with the word bare minimum. We were just discussing one day, and I think she casually said, "This is the bare minimum that we should be doing." And we said, you know, why not call the whole thing that? So it's basically using everything natural. And by plant-based, we don't just mean using plant-based fibers such as cotton, bamboo, etc., but also the dyes. So a lot of people will tell you, "Oh, this is naturally dyed. This is organically dyed." The word natural might not mean plant based. It could also mean a certain type of dye called as azo-free dye,
Yeah.
which is synthetic in nature, but is more natural than, you know, an azo version of it. So we are also plant-based. We use plant-based dyes, as she mentioned earlier. We use plant-based embellishments such as raw wood buttons and recycled coconut buttons. We are zero waste in our approach. We either reuse or upcycle everything that we have in our supply chain, in our production cycle. So these are some of the things that we absolutely, this is core at our, these are some of the core values at our brand and which we stand by.
Yeah,
And
and recently on the World Environment Day, very early for a 6-month-old brand, but we something which we wanted to do right from the start is when we launched the Rejivya.
Yeah.
Basically, let's say you are owning a Jivya piece. It could be anything. It could be a tapestry or a dress or anything else. You have the lifetime subscription of getting it repaired or revamped or just reintroduced to the soil. Let's say you want a minor fix to it, our team will be ready. All you have to do is get in touch with us to get it repaired in multiple options. Or you are just bored with it. You know, fashion is an expression. You might be bored with the piece. The idea here is it should be a forever piece in your wardrobe. So if
Right.
you're bored with it, we have options of, for a fraction of cost, either getting it re-dyed or slightly upcycled into a style to your palette. Like, you got a shirt, I will restyle it, upcycle it into a shirt again, but for you to wear with a different appeal. And then lastly, if you want to throw it, while it can be naturally biodegradable, but we would say please don't throw it, send it back, get some store credits, and we will either cut it, use it in upcycling into embellishments or accessories, or we will responsibly compost it. So we have internal composting systems where we have ourselves tested all the materials. We have to make sure, even if the artisans are saying us the truth, it's our job to make sure as scientists to do that. So that's the Rejivia program. So we want to take ownership of our products in their lifetime and after it. So we still think that's the bare minimum as people we can do for the planet.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's great if as a brand you want to take it back and then address it, because there are not many who are doing it at this point in time. And I think it's also for the consumer to, revisit that piece. So that also rarely happens, because people just go out and they're even if people are conscious and they're buying sustainable, slow fashion brand products, they still don't go to this length. So it's a concept to introduce. I mean, I think we should talk a little bit more about it, so that it kind of starts sinking in, because we do it with with home products. We typically send it back, and but with garments, which should be more often done, because they're not as used as other things. I mean,
Correct.
we're normally also sitting on so many which are like worn all 2 or 3 times.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's a great a great initiative, I would say. And if we can fall through and keep continuously talking about it, because people forget, and they don't want to engage, and then look at a prana piece and do so much work with it,
Right.
send it.
Yeah, it will
Yeah.
involve constant, I would say, regular reminders from our end, like, hey, you have this option if you ever want to use it. Something in a very non-spam, non-nudgy way.
And I think more so that we need to measure. So if you're buying something that is made for your body, that is made according to your taste, you're more likely to care for it. If it is curated and personalized according to your taste, you will care for that particular piece.
Yeah, that's a psychology we are trying to hit, that instead of buying 100 pieces, 50 of which you may not be perfect fit for, let's say in a year, maybe buy 2 or 3 mindful ones that are for your body. You will enjoy wearing them, your skin will feel like it's made for it. So yeah, that's trying to bring the psychology change.
No, absolutely. I mean, we see. Sometimes people say that their brands are doing so much talking, and they are all over the. You open the Instagram and they are talking about recycling programs and send it back and all that. But I feel that it's the need of the hour. Even if we have to stand on top of a building and start shouting about these things or making people aware, it's not. I mean, we don't really. There's not much time left to really hold on and do these things. So with the way fashion is going, because we also curate physical markets, so I see people observe very closely when they are actually coming out to shop. There are brands who are customizing. There are brands who are coming with very few pieces, and then they're telling the customers that we'll take your measurement, we will send you exactly this piece, but in customized to your body. They don't want to buy it, they want to get something right there and then. So that's the end of the story, because there is a big factor about trust, which is also which needs to be established, because they don't trust. I mean, once I step out of this market, I really don't know if you're going to ship it to me, right? So it's a very critical stage at which we are right now. I feel personally that you can't blame anybody. The brand is very right in not producing so many and keeping, and that's how they're trying to become more sustainable. And of course, everybody needs to work with whatever funds they have, right? And the person who's coming to shop is also not wrong, because it happens. I mean, people have set such standards that nowadays you don't trust small brands, and you don't trust them to really fulfill the promises that they're making there. So it's tough to balance that. I pitch in sometimes and we share our details, and then we get into those I have had some very bad, some very good interactions over there. But yeah, it's a tough situation to handle.
Yes.
So yeah.
It's like, before just before the uh, invention of plastic as an everyday item, people were so used to reusing. Then we, like, the capitalist economy changed their mind to, you just have to drink water and don't
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
You will see people around us so easily say, oh, you were traveling, you forgot your clothes, you could have bought that 100 rupees thing and just thrown it off there. And it's a mindset thing that comes, that I cannot be generating this much waste. For us, honestly, it came at a point when we realized that I could be generating tons of waste. I could have already generated tons of waste as a human being.
Correct.
And the wider thing that, well, we take care of our home, right? I want it to be spick and span. I want it to be livable. While we are not thinking of a bigger home, which, like, what will happen if this concrete 4 block is livable and the entire planet is not? And right now we are dumping that out with our practices.
Yeah. And that's why I feel these conversations are very important. And even if we have to take it to another level or another,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because people are observant and they kind of, that consistency, if there is some consistency in what we are talking about,
Yeah.
then I think little observation definitely, I mean, it starts sinking in and people at least are inquisitive to know. So
Right.
that's the only intent here.
And
Yeah.
the other thing I wanted to add was, I mean, this is the conversation that even the both of us have sometimes. We are a little futuristic in our vision because if you look at the European Union, EU regulations that they have in place, they're so strict that you cannot use these particular dyes. You have to
Yeah.
have a certain percentage of your fibers recycled.
Yes.
So I mean, just how India banned the use of single-use plastics, and we couldn't imagine that it really happened. There will be a time wherein certain dyes and certain fibers will be banned. Like it might be 20 years from now, but there is going to be a time wherein the problems of landfill is going to be so huge that the government is going to say you have to find a solution for this, and we would be ahead of the game at that, which we are not now.
Yeah, so we feel like with us, honestly, we are also giving these 100+ artisans an option that you could be using polyester for X brand, you could be using synthetic dyes for Y brand, but for Jivya, you are only using plant colors and plant fibers. And tomorrow, if that is the only route you want to go, we are definitely one of your art consumers, and we are, like, on our website, all of them are listed, their locations, names, art, everything is listed. So it's like those 100 small clusters are also getting an alternative route to survive. That's like
Absolutely. Yeah.
many small impacts. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think we are all very ahead of time. It's there's nothing bad about it, but yeah, the wait period,
Yeah.
that the toil that we kind of have to go through might just be a little longer.
Yeah,
But it's
like you
not
said.
that we can ignore it right now. So, uh, I mean, it will take a very solid brain and heart to really ignore the current situation as well. So that ways we are probably not ahead of time. But yeah, where the consumer mindset is right now, we definitely are, because they're not ready to pay the additional amount that is expected when you're looking at an artisanal product, something that is being born from an entire concept that's based on supporting livelihood, supporting the planet.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
understanding, and it can be very wrong, but
No,
that's
you
what I have kind of, yeah, that's what I
and even
have learned in the past 3-4 years that I have been looking at brands that are
right.
coming up, brands that are going away, brands that are toiling. They have such amazing concepts and they have such great heart to be in this space. But of course, you run out of your you have to have deeper pockets as well to be able to uh, but still, I mean, Jivya is it's revolutionary, because the way you have also started is also very different. So I just know of one other brand. It's called, and I came across them a few days back. It's called Asal. They are also a travel-based brand, and that's what I thought of you guys initially when I was going through the website, when I saw all the maps and
Yeah.
things like that. but it's a great way to educate people about different arts and crafts from different areas as well, because people are clueless. They might be sitting in Kutch and not knowing that, this is happening
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's also important, I feel.
Absolutely. And you're right. In the journey, that, like you said, no, that feeling like going on the rooftop and shouting about it, that's very
Yeah.
common. But it's not just being ahead of time. Like, if we leave that conversation aside, there is a satisfaction that, at the end of it, I am bringing a beautiful product. We are putting forth an idea that is a business model not done before. You,
Yeah.
at every step we think 100 times, well, oh, has this, is there any part of it's wrong? In the smallest of tape we think, okay, is this compostable, is this, it is water activated, and all things like that. So I think putting that much energy and effort into every step of the way uh, is how it's going to be a little later, but maybe we can be the examples to help anyone. And
Yes,
until then,
yes.
I guess I'm very happy with the satisfaction.
Yeah, and we should create some noise around it as well. I mean, we should
Yeah.
share as much as we can, because these stories, I think, need to travel, and these stories get, played down more often than they should be played up. So that is also because most people that I meet, I mean, people like you who are doing something revolutionary, they are not, they don't want to spend time on really, creating a propaganda around it, because they're so busy doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it takes time, right? You're working with craft and you're working with people and you're respecting their sensibilities, then it needs a different kind of an attention. So I feel we should also put in a little bit more effort on really very flamboyantly talking about it,
Yes.
because that's not happening in our industry, I'm telling you. And the products
Absolutely.
are amazing. They are out of the world. Every time when I take 15-20 brands to different cities for our conscious soup, I am lost. I mean, I'm just mesmerized by the kind of products that we see, and it's not available anywhere. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're missing out on an opportunity to appreciating that they are owning something which is made for them, which is unique.
Yeah.
There's a hand art going into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take time, but I think you guys are doing amazing. And the website also looks very well. So you for now you are looking at, you are a direct to consumer brand, right? You're a D2C brand right now.
Yeah. So we have our e-commerce website that we
Yeah,
primarily sell, and then we
yeah.
also, I mentioned, tour around the country sometimes at select exhibits and pop-ups.
So that
Yeah, and then we have
And then we are with our
yeah,
Better Planet as well.
with us, and there are some amazing other marketplaces that you should also look at working
yes.
with, because it just, my intention here is to just again, like I said, go on top of the the building and shout, because that's needed, and I think we deserve it, because the kind of work that you guys are putting in, it's commendable. And you're not just thinking about the enterprise, but just in the bigger picture, which is also very rare to find. Sometimes it keeps shrinking down, and it keeps shrinking down to the number of pieces and the revenue and the profit
Yeah.
and everything. I mean, I know it's very important, but then something like this, you cannot relate to that. The satisfaction that you're talking about
Yeah.
might not be achievable by just that.
Yeah.
So thank you for being a part of Our Better Planet, and maybe together we can collaborate on some other projects and try to create more noise, and share the Rejivya campaign, Jivya campaign, and the create a little bit more awareness about the bare minimum
Yeah,
philosophy that you guys follow as well.
most certainly.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to be with you. Happy to have this conversation today. And yes, I guess what we are taking back from the session or live today is we have to have all the propaganda around all the
Yes,
revolution.
that's what I
Everybody is doing
keep telling
it.
all my brands. Yeah, and I personally, whatever I have, I source, I keep talking about it. keep sharing it, but then that's of course not enough. So we need to, kind of look at different avenues, maybe some smaller pieces of gifting items that can work with corporate gifting. So just to increase awareness,
Yeah.
because it goes a long way. So yeah, some ideation around that. Just an idea that I had. I'm throwing it at you.
Yeah.
The wedding market is great, and we are trying to kind of get to wedding gifting as well. So something around that. Whenever you guys have a chance, think around, and we
Yeah.
can definitely
We
talk
are more than happy to collaborate and associate it with Our Better Planet, and just anyone who's like-minded who wants to make an impact
Yeah.
in whatever way we could.
Yeah, in whatever way is the important a statement here,
Yes.
because yeah, it's going to be slow for a little bit, but I think we are in the right place, and we are all having fun, so I think that's important.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and lovely chatting with you guys.
Likewise.
Same
See
here.
you around sometime, and thank you so much for being a part of this live. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so
much.
much for having us. Yeah.
Bye.
It was great talking
Yes.
to you. Thank you.
Right.
Bye.